So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about how to find out if you have sleep apnea, what my experience has been like using an apnea machine after 6 months. And what I want out of this video is I'm hoping I can convince someone that is like nervous or on the fence about getting a CPAP machine, because there really are a lot of benefits to it. My biggest hang up always was like, who's gonna be attracted to me or want to sleep with me if I'm wearing like a CPAP at night? I actually found that my girlfriend, like at first she was like, yeah, it's kind of weird, but then the fact that I don't snore in my sleep anymore, like to her, that's just so much better. And so I definitely do not regret getting a CPAP. So for those of you that are here, you may or may not already know what sleep apnea is. For those that aren't aware, sleep apnea is like a partial blockage of the airways. And this partial blockage of the airways is caused by like throat muscles that relax while you sleep. So actually what happens when you have like an apnea event is you can partially or completely stop breathing, which of course affects your like oxygen levels in your brain, which is really bad for you. So your body, to kind of save you from dying, what it does is it elevates your heart rate very, very quickly. So you can go, usually when you're sleeping, your heart rate might be between like 40 and 60 beats per minute. It could jump up to within seconds to like 155, 160 beats per minute, which is really not good for your heart. And then basically what that does is it wakes you up so that you can properly start breathing again. So because of this, and because it is such a big like wear on your heart, letting sleep apnea go untreated into your 50s is actually very, very dangerous. One of the statistics that my respiratory therapist told me was that 30% of the people that die in their sleep die because they have sleep apnea, and they could have lived on for like 10, 20 years longer if they just swallowed their pride and got a sleep apnea machine. So how do you know if you have sleep apnea? Well, if one of the symptoms of sleep apnea is that you're snoring, you're always waking up with like no energy or feeling hazy and things like that, but you can actually get a sleep apnea test done or a sleep study done, and that will actually give you how many incidents you have per hour and how serious your sleep apnea is. So the actual experience is you get hooked up to, so you do it at home. There's a couple of things that go into your nose to measure your breathing. You get a little oximeter on your finger that measures your oxygen and your heart rate. And then I think there's a battery, some kind of battery operated machine that kind of sits on your chest and like stores all that data. It is kind of uncomfortable. I'll tell you, I definitely did have a hard time falling asleep, and they do need about 6 hours of data between 2 days to get a proper reading. So they say that if you have 4 of these apnea events per hour or less, it's not that serious, like that's almost normal, but anything above 15 is considered severe. And for myself, I was getting 32 incidents an hour. Like, I'm surprised I'm not dead here, guys, at 42. And now that I have this apnea machine, there's an app that actually syncs to your phone and gives you all these statistics. And now that I have this apnea machine, I average less than 1 incident per hour, which is just incredible. So what is it like actually sleeping with a sleep apnea machine? Well, let's talk about what you actually get. So there's full face masks, which is kind of what I think they want to start most people with. And then there's kind of these nose pillows. There's 2 different kinds. There's one that just kind of lines up with the holes of your nose and blows air up your nose gently. And as you fall asleep and you start getting like apnea events, it increases the amount of air that you get so that it like loosens up those throat muscles, opens up the airways. Then there's the nose pillows that go directly into your nose, but I found that those were not as comfortable, and I felt like I wasn't getting as much air. It was harder for me to fall asleep. And then of course there's the full face mask. So usually when you go to a respiratory therapist, they will just give you one of those, usually the full face mask. And just know that usually you have like about 30 days to say like, you know, this isn't working for me, I'm struggling to fall asleep. And they will actually let you try out the different options, the different nose pillows, and until you find something that works for you. So I strongly encourage you, you know, give it a few days with the full face mask if that's what they give you at first. But just know that, you know, definitely try other ones out. You are going to find something where you can fall asleep a lot easier eventually, and I just don't want you to feel like you have to stick with whatever they give you at first. Now, these apnea machines are quite expensive. If you purchase them directly through your respiratory therapist, they're usually about $2,500 to $2,900 Canadian. So if you don't have any benefits, that's going to be really expensive. You can buy the exact same machine on Amazon for about $1,200, so half the price or less, which I'll have linked below for you guys. You can also buy all the things that you need with the apnea machine, like the little water container that heats up, the nose pillows, the thing that goes around your head to hold your nose pillow to your nose, all of that you can buy on Amazon for much cheaper than through the respiratory therapist. The benefit of going through the respiratory therapist, though, is that you get free regular checkups. They make sure that all your equipment is working properly. They adjust your settings if they adjust your settings if they need to, and they let you know when you need to replace your equipment. And then of course you have to purchase it through them to continue to get the kind of that free service. Just know that there are settings you can, I'm sure there's YouTube videos out there, there's settings in there that you can set your apnea machine to. So when you go to your doctor after your referral to the respiratory therapist and you get your results back, it'll tell you what range your machine needs to be set to, and that's what the respiratory therapist sets in the settings embedded into the machine. You can actually do that yourself, so if you can't afford like the full price and that full experience, I recommend you still purchase one and just look at what you got from your doctor and set those settings so that you don't have to pay as much. My actual experience so far has been, honestly, it only took me maybe a week or two to really get, once I found the equipment that works for me, it really only took me about a week or two to get to where I'm falling asleep as fast as I normally do. What is really annoying at times is I do find that when I'm having a lot of apnea events, it really increases the amount of air that's pushing through your nose by quite a bit, to the point where that is actually what's waking me up. And then in order to get it to stop blowing so much air, I have to like roll over, turn the machine off and turn it back on again, and then it starts at kind of that base pressure. And it doesn't always happen, but there are times where it happens multiple times a night, or like my strap falls off my head, so it's blowing air in my face. So these are just things that, like, know that you're gonna have that kind of experience. But what I will tell you is the way that you feel after you wake up using a CPAP machine compared to before, like that foggy, hazy feeling, always feeling that like you're tired no matter how much sleep that you get, no matter how much coffee you have, like, you're not gonna have that anymore. I now feel like when I wake up, like, yeah, I feel a little bit tired if it's not the weekend and I get to sleep more than usual, but I don't feel as tired as I did. I feel like I'm really just ready to take on the day, and the amount of, like, just how clear my head feels when I wake up and refreshed. I've had days where I've only slept 3 to 4 hours using the apnea machine because I just was having trouble sleeping, and I'll tell you that those 3 to 4 hours after I woke up, I still felt better than I felt when I would sleep 8 to 9 hours without the machine. Like, that's how much of a difference that it makes. Now, in terms of maintenance, like, this is gonna be a whole life-changing routine for you in order to keep your CPAP machine running for years to come, and in order for you to not breathing in bad air, you have to do routine maintenance. So there's daily maintenance, there's weekly maintenance, and then there's monthly maintenance. I'll see if I can do some B-roll here for you guys to kind of show you how to do some of this stuff. But your daily maintenance is you have to take out your container that has the water with your distilled water. It has to be distilled, or in an emergency case, like boiled, cooled down water. You take that out and you have to wash it with soap through all the little holes and everything like that. Make sure that if you're using something with bristles, that you use soft bristles, otherwise you can scratch up the I think it's like aluminum or something, I don't know, but like you can scratch up that bottom. So don't do that. Make sure you use soft bristles for that, and you have to use dish soap. I recommend Dawn dish soap. That's done really well for me. And then you have to actually put dish soap in the nose pillow and rinse that out every day. And then you have to also clean your strap that the air goes through and into your nose. And so you have to put dish soap into that and kind of rinse it out. And I'll show you here how to do that. And then you just kind of let it sit there. What I usually do is I do this just before I take a shower and let all of that kind of sit there and soak. And then when I'm done, I just rinse off all the soap and let it dry until I go to bed at night. Then you also have the hose that goes from your CPAP machine and into the top of your strap. And that's something that you have to clean out once a week. So again, you put dish soap in that. And the way you clean that is you just put water in, and then you just kind of, almost like you're milking a cow, just move the hose around like this. And then just make sure you rinse out all of the soap and let that dry. And you have to do that once a week. Then once a month, there's a filter in there that you have to replace. They're actually quite expensive at the respiratory therapist. They don't care if you buy online. Bought like 100 pack for $12 or something like that, and I think they were selling 6 packs to me for $25. So you can buy those on Amazon and you'll have filters for a long time to come. You have to replace those once a month. This is how you do it. There's like a little flap here that just comes down. You take out your old filter, put the new one in. It's really easy. And then once a month, you should also use like a CPAP wipe or something like that you can also purchase on Amazon. I'll have all of this linked below, and you just make sure that you wipe everything down on like the top of your CPAP, and I'll just show you here everything that you need to wipe down, and that's your routine maintenance. This is your life now. This is something that's gonna annoy the crap out of you if you're someone like me, but it is absolutely necessary to keep your thing going. I hope this video is enough to give someone that's on the fence the idea that, hey, maybe they should get finally tested. I hope I scared you into actually saving your life and maybe living another 10, 20 years by getting a CPAP machine if you need it. Next up, you should check out one of the 2 videos on your screen. It's going to change your life. Thanks for liking and subscribing, and I'll see you next time.